Alright, so all of us investors are eagerly waiting for SoFi's bank charter news, and it feels like it's so close yet so far. The SoFi stock is having a very nice run up since last few weeks, and as I mentioned in my past video that SoFi's bank charter news is very close. So let's take a look at timeline and when I think we might hear the bank charter news, and the information I'm sharing is public and has been public for a long time. But how SoFi raised capital and the timeline we are in right now is very interesting. So before we look at the actual timeline, let's take a look at another stock that went through the same process and how they reacted to the charter news. We are looking at the Lending Club bank charter. So on December 30th, 2020, Lending Club received their approval for the bank charter news. And I have the Lending Club chart over here to show you exactly how the stock reacted. So as you can see over here, on December 31st is when the news came public. Of course, they announced after the market closed on the 30th. And on the 31st, we had this huge news that saying that Lending Club acquisition of Radius Bank. Now over here is a historical chart of Lending Club showing what the price did leading up to the charter news and how the price reacted after the charter news. So let's take a look here. First thing I want to do is I want you to pay attention to the price over here. So this is the close price right here. So as you can see, December 21st to all the way December 30th, right here in this line, let me actually draw a quick line over here. As you can see, the price stayed between $8 and between like 8 and 8.30 the entire time right here. Then the volume also fluctuated between 1 and 2 million shares. Actually, it was 4.4 million on December 21st because before Christmas, and then after that, it kind of stayed in the same range. Then if you pay attention, on 31st, when the news came out, the price closed at $10.56, almost went up $2. For an $8 stock, for the price to go up $2, it's pretty interesting. Then the volume went up to 20 million from a $1.3 million right here a day before, or a 2.6 million a day before. It went up to 19 million. So the volume almost 10x'd from where it was. This is really interesting to see how the volume just shot up the day the news came and the price went up $2 on the news. Then we know that after 31st, we had few days of holidays. On January 4th and 5th, there was some profit taking that happened and we lost a little bit of value of the share. The volume also dropped. And then after that, volume remained the same. As you can see over here, the volume remained in the same range between 1 and 3 million shares every day up until January 19th. And as you can see, the volume went up all the way down to like million shares one time. And then the price fluctuated, but then it came back again more right here on January 19th than what it was on the news. So the news came, the volume went up through the roof, 10x right here, and then the price went up $2, but then leading up 2 days after that, a lot of profit taking happened. Volume dropped to like 4 million from like 20 million. And then after a few days, all the other institutions and all the other investors came in and then they start buying, and then the price went up to about $12. This is Lending Club. Now, if you take a look at Lending Club chart over here, you can see these 3 spikes in the volume. This is when the charter news was announced. This is when their earnings came out after the charter news. And this is when their profitable quarter happened. And as you can see, the stock price just went up like crazy. So as you can see over here, the stock right now is trading at about $33 when I took the screenshot, from where it was like $12 after the charter news. A few days after, before was like $8. So this is like a great, if you see the price where it was right now to where it is at $30, you can see the price has almost 3x'd, which is really exciting news for a company like Lending Club because it's kind of a same company like SoFi, and we know that we are pending the charter news. So great news for SoFi shareholders. Now let's take a look at SoFi stock and how the timeline is going to play a role here. So next on your screen, I have an image of a conditional approval right here that SoFi received last year. And in this approval, we are going to break it down further and see what we can make out of the timeline. So if you look at the date of this approval, it was issued on October 27th right here of 2020. And they had given SoFi a 12-month timeline to raise the capital. Right here, it says over here, the proposed bank initial paid-in capital net of all organization and reopening expenses or pre-opening expenses shall be no less than 550 million. And they say if the capital transactions of the bank are not completed as described within 12 months, or if the bank, actually I'm going to hold off to that. So within 12 months, they want the capital to be raised. Now, those 12 months end on October 27th, 2021, and we all know that SoFi has raised $1.1 billion recently last month. So I'm sure they have well satisfied the requirement here of $550 million by raising almost $1.1 billion. Now, the next interesting part is that as per this application right here, if the bank is not open for business within 18 months from the preconditional approval date, this approval expires. So that's what they're saying here, that they have to open within first 18 months. Now, no one knows when SoFi will start the operations for the bank. But according to this timeline, they have until April of 2022 to start the operation as a bank. But not so fast. Pay attention to this language and let's read it together. If, right here, I'm going to start reading from here. So if the bank is not opened for business within 18 months, okay, of the preconditional approval, this approval expires. SoFi needs to open the bank prior to obtaining the final certificate. So now I think it makes sense to have the team listed as President SoFi Bank instead of saying President and then in the bracket information, as we know that they recently removed that. So this is what I think is going on. I think SoFi has started operating as a bank, internal operation, the books, the whole things that they need to do, as they have to within 18 months. And they might come out and release the news at a time that they think is appropriate for the company. I'm not going to like it, but looks like this very well could happen or be announced with the Q3 earnings. Now we know that they still have 6 more months to play with. So if you look at the timeline, but of course 18 months will fall about like April of 2022 from October 27th of 2020. But if you look at the timeline and knowing SoFi and how aggressive they are with the operation, they would rather do it now before the year's end and not wait few more months, because they can then leverage this bank charter to offer even more cheaper loans. Now let's assume that SoFi announced the bank charter news separate from the earnings call. I really hope so. So this is what I think is going to happen. We are going to see a major volume on the stock the day after the announcement. And of course, as we saw in the lending club, we saw a huge run up on the volume. And then they will be announcing it after the bell, of course. So the next day will have a massive volume, and then there will be some profit taking few days after. And then once all the profit takers are out is when the big institution and big whales will start coming in and start buying the stock or pushing the price higher. Again, my personal opinion, and I'm not a financial advisor, I am just looking at what I see from the experience from other banks. The situation could be very well, very different. But from what I have seen is sell the news, anytime a big catalyst like this has happened, there is a lot of profit taking that has happened a day after, a few days after. As you can see over here, there was a lot of profit taking happening over here, but then slowly the price started to go up because there is a lot more institutional buyer that came in and a lot more funds got added to lending club. So I think we can see the same kind of behavior for SoFi, but of course, they have raised the fund right here, $550 million within 12 months. They have to start the operation within 18 months. Now they're starting the operation. Could happen, of course, they have till April 2022, but I think they're going to do it before. And then no extension unless extreme circumstances. So they are not be allowed any kind of extension. So they have to do it now. Now, if they announce the charter with the earnings call, then good luck to all of us, as I have no clue how this is going to play. It'll be very interesting to see how the stock will react. But regardless, profit taking on any news is a high probability. So this is really exciting stuff here. And regardless of when they announce the charter, I'm super excited to see the Q3 results and also the member growth. As soon as they release the charter news or Q3 earnings, I will be doing a detailed video breaking all of it down and also where I see the stock go from here. I have a good position on SoFi and I'm excited to see it grow. So if you like the video, then please click the like button so we can reach out to more SoFi lovers, and subscribe if you have not so you don't miss out on future videos. I'll link the part 2 of my SoFi series video so you get an idea of so many products they're offering. As always, an absolute pleasure to share all of this with you. Until next time, you all have a sparkling day.